So happy new moon, everybody, and welcome to Divine Healing with me, MikaLeone-Pettit. I'm excited to have you here and looking forward to sharing this information with you. So in this new moon season, which is Cancer, so this is going to be great for things like detoxing ties, emotional attachments, addictions, compulsions, good time for cleanses. So the things that we're going to be doing here this evening is also going to be things that can energetically help with those types of things and releasing in that way. We're also going to be working with some other clearing others energies because we all can use that, and removing some low frequencies along with some hydration and nutritional stuff. And there's also a couple of Bach flower remedies that came up today that could work really well for this new moon. So we're going to integrate some of those energetically as well. And so I'm going to go ahead and get going with the presentation. So tonight we're going to learn in this presentation what divine healing is, the benefits of divine healing, why divine healing works, and how to maximize the benefits of it. So first, a little bit about me. I've been in the health, wellness, and the beauty industry for over 23 years. My background, actually, I'm just retiring from massage next week. I've been doing that for at least, I think, like 16, 17 years. But I started out with aromatherapy and herbs, and then I moved into aesthetics. And I used to work at a whole nutritional store a long time ago and started going to school for aesthetics then. And then it branched out into, I wound up doing my bachelor's in natural health studies. I now currently have my master's in metaphysics and working on my doctoral and transpersonal counseling at the University of Sedona. And then I have two online communities that I kind of split off into those couple of passions of mine, which is one is health, wellness, the metaphysical properties of life, and all those things that come under that. Like she was saying earlier that she was into crystals and sound healing and things like that. So a lot of things fall under that metaphysical cover. And so one of the communities have a little bit of everything like that to make your life magical. And the other side is my other passion, which is business, finance, investing, and that kind of thing. So that's my two loves split off into two different communities. Actually, Melissa, she wasn't prepared to be seen, but she's in my business and financial community online. And I also write for Herbaria newsletter and Plant Healers magazine. So that's something else I do that I love, and it gets me to use the knowledge that I have and integrate it into writing as well. And actually the people who own and operate the Plant Healers magazine and Herbaria newsletter, they're coming up with a conference that's coming up next weekend. Herbal Confluence, you guys might have heard of it. It's at least, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 years old. I don't know, I forgot. I have an interview with him on my podcast, the fourth one, number 4, and they talk about how long they've been going, and this is their first year online. So that's coming up as well. So I do classes and things like that. So the story, so why you are here. So everyone walks through the door of healing for different reasons, and everybody, of course, are at different levels and stages in their healing. So one of the good things to think about, especially like in a new moon, when you are integrating and you're basically getting ready to prepare for something new. And all the things that we're going to be doing here today can help move you forward in that. So you want to think about, maybe even write down where you are now. And let me go ahead and let Melissa back in here. Where you are now and where you would like to be as far on your healing journey, or where you want to go from here. What is divine healing? So divine healing is a method created by Ameria Arel Hilaire, Shakira Chozan, and Mary Leomas de Tut, to help clients cut through core blockages and issues faster in their sessions. So, like Krista, sorry, and when you're doing things like soul contracts and things like that, you can help people get to where they're supposed to be or what their frequency or vibration of what they want to work through is. But you want to find a quick method to get them there because there's lots of blockages on that journey. So divine healing allows you to find and peel the layers in the right order so you get to the life you could be living faster. Basically, that's the bottom line. They wanted a method that, okay, now that we've told people what their vibrations is, they resonate with that. What do we do with that? How can we get them to where they need to go or what they need to cut through faster? And this is how they created this energetic system. So in life, usually there's pretty much just two paths, right? You seem like we're always going off in this direction or that direction, but there's really just two main paths that we take. And one could be the path of suffering, which is a lot of times that's mean it's ego driven. We're following what the ego wants to do. And it also, the ego makes it feel like things that are not that big and important in life, it makes it seem like there are massive issues, and which also makes us go off our path even more. It's rockier, it's bumpier, like this one, you're trudging through the forest and hoping the animals don't get you, it's just a lot more things to dodge and look out for, and challenges and issues. And also too, when you follow this path, it's a lot more linear, which means, you believe that things have to happen in a certain type of sequence in order for it to come to fruition, which also can hinder and slow down your growth. So the path of bliss instead is the path that you're living what you really feel you're here to do. So for instance, you're focusing on your inner life and what's going on inside of you, what you're feeling inside of you, which has to do a lot with the divine healing. It's very feeling based, emotional based, and which we know we need to get the emotional body moving to heal. And also to your guidance and wisdom from your higher self comes through a lot better and easier. You have better outcomes in life. Your life just seems a lot easier if you are following your spirit or your higher self and what you're actually supposed to be doing while you're here in this body in this lifetime. And then also on that path, things aren't necessarily non-linear. It's non-linear, I'm sorry. It's basically where things can happen out of sequence. Some people may call it, some people believe in miracles. Some people believe in luck, synchronicity, or some people just believe some people just by magic, get things done. A lot of times this is just because they're on their path of bliss, and they're doing basically that's the thing that's supposed to happen for them in this time in life. So it just seems easier for them. And you don't have to wait for you to do this and do this step and this step and this step, like how we would do in a linear form to make something appear. It can just appear magically from some place that you never thought possible that it would come from. So path of bliss is following your unique spiritual signature is the path to your bliss. So specifically, it's got to be your path in order for you to find your bliss. If you're trying to follow someone else's, or if you let somebody else's path interfere with yours, then of course you're going to find the bumpier road, or if your ego gets in the way of doing that as well, which we know can happen as well. Your ego stops you from being on that path for many different reasons. So we have 3 primary separation programs that they believe in divine healing and soul contract that basically underlines most about issues that we have. And the first one is abandonment by the divine. You can call this whatever you want. It's basically non-religious. It's just a way of connecting to something higher than yourself. You know that something else created everything that is, and you, and what we experience. So whatever you want to call that. So it's abandonment, basically. A lot of us feel detached, a disconnect when we come into this plane, because this plane is actually kind of designed in that way to where a lot of us lose ourselves in our attachment to our higher self as we come in, later as kids and everything else, and our family and our surroundings, program this out of us, and we a lot of times have to find our way back. Of course, there's the small percentage that never lose that connection, but that's very rare and far in between, especially in highly industrialized nations and modern world. Lack of trust in divine as a result of number one. So very simple things. A lot of times it's really easy to get back on path, but all the separation programming makes things seem like it's difficult, but it's really not. It's pretty basic things on why we're having the things that we're having now. A lot of it's just flipping some things or changing some things or adjusting them a little bit. So the lack of trust in the divine is because if you feel abandoned and you feel like there was no one there for you when you really needed them, or you felt like you were detached somehow from your divine purpose of being here, then that's going to build up some trust issues. It's going to build up a feeling of, well, yeah, but I called out and I needed help and it wasn't there for me. So that other programming there from the disconnect that we experience because we are energetically either by accident or indirectly just shutting ourselves off from that divine connection to our higher self as well. An unworthiness to be loved by the divine. So perfect example I have here is the feeling of guilt or the sinner label. So as we all know, religions can put that there and place that there, and it automatically gives us this kind of separation thing from the divine, like, well, I can't have that connection with divine. I have to get it from some outside source. It can't be within me because I'm a sinner. So that's just one of those types of labels that kind of reiterates or keeps that program running. And you notice I have here a program, because actually that's pretty much what they are. So healing is not possible if we cannot feel. So getting back to the feeling connection with divine healing, it keeps you out of the head. And now that you know that there's certain things, or even have a feeling that there's certain places in your life you want to start with your healing, it takes you out of the head and put you in the body, because without going through the actual emotional body, you can't heal. When you're numbed out and don't want to feel, and we also lose fragments of ourselves as we grow and develop from not wanting to feel, wanting to disconnect, things like that. So no desire to go within. So with that means externally always looking outside for your whatever's going to draw your attention. Your attention, I found with all the years of healing work and metaphysical things that I've done, that most of your attention needs to be just as much on what's going on inside your world as what's going on outside your world, because otherwise you're running on a subconscious program, and a lot of it's what they believe in the psychology, even some of the evolutionary astrology realms, that it's up to like 90%, even 95% unconscious, probably just depending on the individual. So when you start to focus more on, hey, how do I really feel inside? What do I feel about what I'm saying to myself, or what someone's saying to me, or what I'm exposing myself to? You start to pay attention inwardly what that's doing to you. That alone, totally heals a lot of the, or at least bring them to the surface so that they can be healed. Numbed out and issues buried. So like we were saying, if you want to detach or defragment yourself because you don't want to feel or don't want to experience or remember what has happened, traumas, a lot of times we think it's not traumas, a lot of times it's other people's energies that are trapped around us and in our fields, or what we expose ourselves to with entertainment, you name it. There's ways of those things, if they're not cleansed out of our energetic systems and our auras, and just our environment, this stuff, you could start numbing yourself to a lot of things or burying issues. So those issues will still be there, and they hinder and block. So this is another thing divine healing helps with, because it helps bring those things to, okay, yeah, I am feeling this when I'm talking about this, or remembered about this, and where is it going, and how do I get it out? So we're going to go through some exercises after this. And we have learned to control emotions with our prefrontal cortex in our brains. So again, another way that our body has built up a mechanism to basically try to protect us. It's thinking it's protecting us by saying, well, I can control your emotions a little bit and make sure you don't have to feel the brunt of this. So let's see what we can do about that. But at the same time, it might work really well in the beginning or in the moment, because you need to get through that moment and go on and do something you might have to do. But overall, you want to get back to where you're working on it so that it's still not there, wreaking havoc and causing things just not to function the way that you ideally would want them to function. And I added this one recently: distracted from birth, not to fully feel. So we've got many reasons, whether it's family issues, whether it's work, school, you name it. There's so many things that can, from, it's constant distractions about why we don't have time to work on ourselves and to heal. And if we want to, we can find plenty of ways to, not work on it. So these are just programs, and they can be deleted, or we can uninstall them, just like if you're uninstalling software on a computer. So this is what divine healing is doing. It's uninstalling those programs that's been built up in there for years and years and years. And of course, we heal at different levels depending on where we are in our lives. So it will only give us at the time what we can work on at that time. So that's the thing about healing. And if you're on the path, you're going to get what you need at that moment. Like I asked the question of what brought you here. Usually people don't find this kind of work unless they're at a certain level and they're ready for it. And they definitely won't show up unless they're ready for it or ready to move to another level. So when you do divine healing, it's going to take those little layers off and basically get you to access your higher self easier, um, help life become easier. You're naturally happier. You feel lighter. You just feel better. You look and you feel younger, easier to focus on goals and obtain your goals. And they don't feel like so much of a struggle. They just feel like what you're supposed to be doing, because you're setting yourself to be on the right pattern. You don't have to ask yourself as many questions about what you're doing too, because it naturally feels right to you. So you're going to do it without feeling like, oh, confused, or is this the right thing or that right thing. It's just going to naturally feel good to you. This probably is a good time to mention too, if anybody here is familiar with human design, it is said that at least 70% of us are generators, which means that we're really not supposed to be taking our energy and running out and trying to obtain, go for it all the time. Generators are supposed to wait for the right situation that feels right to them. And when you're clearing out all this emotional baggage, it's way easier to feel what's right for you. You're not so in your head trying to think, because analytically, most of the times it's ego driven, and it's not going to be ideal. It might even work for some time, or you think you got what you wanted, and then you realize later you have to change it, or it doesn't work out the way you thought, all because it was ego and mind driven, instead of that gut feeling of, yes, this is the right thing to do, this is the right move, and you're going to naturally feel that more if you don't have all the emotional layering around your emotional bodies and just your aura and your different levels of your auric field in general. The right people and the right situations flow into your life way easier. So all this stuff that people tell you that happens, it's true. And actually, I like to always add, because a lot of people, when you talk about more metaphysical and spiritual things, they always want to make it like it's something that you have to believe in. Yes, you have to believe to a certain point that this stuff is true, and to try it and do it for a certain amount of time to make sure that it works. But you're still going to get a result from it. It's not like it's just a belief. It's, if you do it, if you do the work, and if you're serious about your path, you're going to notice a difference. You can't help but notice a difference. It will be a difference from what you had before and what you're experiencing now if you're doing it. Because the natural order would be, as the universe is there to work with you. So if you work with it, and you work with your own energy and what you're supposed to be doing, you're naturally going to notice something shifting in your life or changing. You don't have to guess, you don't have to wonder, or just sit there and believe it. You're gonna know it, you're gonna feel it. So requirements for healing: you have to have a willingness, like I was saying, a desire, and the courage to do it, because it's every day, it's constant. We have all these different energies, all these different things that are going on even right now, that is constantly trying to work against the natural flow and the rhythms and the cycles and of how we are supposed to really live and be and out in human bodies and do what we're supposed to do here. So when you have the willingness, you have to have the courage to keep going, keep doing it, until you get. Our teacher, he was saying that Amira, who also created this as well, she was saying, when he's saying, well, what do I do to get my results? She said, just keep doing the work until you get the result. And it's almost like that with all your healing stuff. It's like, and as you peel off these layers, it's like you just keep doing it, and then it will naturally, you will get the results. So my suggestion is not to stop, even when it seems like you are in a place where you need to, or whatever. Just come back to it, or do a little bit every day, and I think it'll help. Identifying the issue. So one of the things too, what is the issues that you're working on? You have to identify it and bring it to light so that you can feel into it to heal it. And then bringing in the feeling consciousness, so that you can be able to release it and get it to move and shift. And with that, we're going to talk about a little bit of that, because um, that's important as we go through this work. And that's why I like to have everybody comfortable and in a position where they're like on a healing table, so that they can integrate and let things just kind of naturally happen. And it also too, one of the girls mentioned her crystals. So yeah, if you got any special crystals you want to use right now, I'm working with my selenite, rose quartz, and I got a spirit quartz here too. And so I'm going to be working with those guys while I am working on you guys. When we're doing the clearing the energies too, if anybody's got any jet, obsidian, black tourmaline, that might be something else you might be interested in working with, as well as we clear out other people's energies. So like an onion, we are born with energetic baggage. Evolutionary astrology believes about 50% of what we carry energetically is not ours. So whether you believe in past lives, whether you just believe in nothing at all, basically energy has been here long before, generations and generations and generations. You're still being integrated into other energies that have been here before you have been integrated into this body. So when you think about that, and you think about, wow, and if you might have even heard of some of the people, I want to say Sheldrake, Rupert Sheldrake maybe, was talking about morphic fields, and how in certain places after things happen, these morphic fields are there that people don't realize that they're being exposed to this, whether it's something really horrific or whether it's something that was really great, but energetically these morphic fields set up depending on what's going on there and how it happens. So when you think of it in that way, it makes a lot of sense, regardless of what your belief system is, that, yeah, I will come into this world and I'll have my own stuff, but I'm going to be exposed to all this other stuff that was here before, even if it didn't get passed down through my genes or hereditary or whatever. And imagine if it did as well, which, energetically, I think anybody here on this, on this, seminar or the webinar knows that, yeah, probably energetically things are getting passed to you as well. So this is why it's so difficult to stay on the path, because we're managing our own load, and sometimes we're not even aware of the other load that's out there that we've got to balance as well, and then anything else that we're incorporating and bringing into our environment. So this is why it's a constant daily conscious thing that you're doing. And then eventually, obviously, it starts to get easier and easier and easier on what you're doing. Okay. So basically, you have non-religious energetics. Here is what is going on. Everything changes when you shift the vibration or the frequency you are operating at in your life, because your reality is created out of different levels of frequencies. So this is a good time to go through the book I have down here, Power versus Force, by David Hawkins, on the scale of consciousness. And I have one here, an example of what he's talking about. And basically on that scale of consciousness, you are, there's certain things that are at a different frequency. And so it depends on what you are vibrating at, is what you're constantly unconsciously, basically, like we were saying, at least about 90 to 95% most people operate on, unless you're taking the time to consciously be aware of what you're doing and how you're behaving in your inner world. So a perfect example of this is grief, is the vibration or the frequency of about 75. But when you come up to acceptance has a high frequency of 350. So it gives you an anxiety. So you're going to vibrate, basically. It's an example of you're vibrating to whatever is going to be what you're thinking, what you're exposing yourself to, what you're feeling. And we have shame at 20. And then we have things like peace all the way up at 600. So the goal is, will you be able to maintain that all the time? That's why you're constantly being aware and you're working on it, because you will not be able to keep that frequency high at that level all the time. But the goal is, that is what you're aiming for. You're aiming for a higher vibration, because at those higher vibrations, that's where you get the things that people call miracles and things like that. So this is a good time for, I know couple of people just came in a few minutes ago, and I'm going to go back over a couple of things. So how do you want to continue your healing after we do this session? And if those people that came in, you want to get your blankets, you want to get water, you want to get settled, because we're about to go into the healing. I'm just giving you some information now. So if you want to follow up after, you can, and you can find other sources. So I'm going to list the sources here, because when we start the healing, I'm going to leave you in that space. I am not, after I end it, I'm going to let you know I'm ending it, and then I'm going to let you stay there, because I suggest you stay there for at least 15 to 30 minutes if you can. So if you're going to be doing the monthlies, always find a place like your meditation space, where you're not going to be disturbed. It feels right for you to just let go, and that's where you're going to want to be doing the divine healings. So yeah, so if you haven't gotten settled in, you're not comfortable yet, you want to be hydrated. So just for next time, if anybody's going to be doing the monthlies, and the monthlies will also be held, this one is held on a new moon. And Cancer, I will keep them close to the new moons, and that way to give you a fresh start of letting go, to get ready to prepare for whatever you're going to create. And each month is going to be determined on what's going on that month, what the energies are. And just like this one, this one's going to be about releasing toxic ties, emotional attachments, compulsions. If you're thinking about a cleanse, they said also new moons and full moons are good for releasing parasites too. So if anybody out there thinking about a parasite cleanse, also too journaling. If you want to have a little notepad close by, because sometimes things come up while you're in session, you can just jot them down real quick and then just kind of go back to zoning out and then look at it later. And you might even get a new perspective on it. So I am going to tell you a few ways that what you can do from here. And you can also email me. And if you have any questions about or comments about the healing session after I leave you in it, later something comes up, whatever, that's fine. Newsletter, if you join a newsletter, that's where everything will be, when the monthly sessions are going to be. And I also will have this one because there's some people that can't make it tonight, and for people who want an introduction to the divine healing, I just started a Life Alchemy YouTube channel, and everything will be on there that I record, everything from the meditations to, I'll probably put some of the podcast stuff on there and things like that too. So how to heal podcast, having guests, talk about everything from books to everything that's metaphysical and healing in some way or form for your life will be on the podcast. I'm going to be doing the monthly divine healings, and I also have asked Mika for my metaphysical ministry. So that means you can email anonymously. I won't give your name, but you can ask some things regarding something pertaining to your life. And I will redirect it in a way that it can be generally used for anybody else that may have wanted to ask the same question or may have had similar types of thoughts, but didn't want to ask or whatever. So I would keep it anonymous. I'll just give what it is, give you what my spiritual and metaphysical advice would be with all of my education and experience, and it gives me a way to use my studies and what I'm learning as well. And also too, for my my doctorate, I have to do a lot of psychology classes. So this is going to be helping with a lot of my work as well. So it helps me to help you. So I'm happy to answer the questions and don't give out names. So you can always just email me for that. And I'm happy to give a free 15-minute consult for those people who are trying to figure out where to go next and what they could do. And if I can't help you, I have connections with other practitioners that I might figure that you might be suited better for you. And I can lead you and refer you to others as well. Classes and courses. Also too, that's another way that you can start depending on where you are. Mini soul contract reading is another good way to get going, because the mini soul contracts can give you, especially for people who don't know where to begin with their healing or energetically feel off balance in their life, like something's just not right, something's off, and I need something to put me back on my path. Those are the people who would be interested in soul contract, because then they can get the exact healing type stuff that they would need for their unique energetic star, as we call it, your star when you come here. And like we said, we're all created from stardust. So your little star pattern of what you're supposed to do in this lifetime, that would be your soul contract reading, and it gets you a way clearer understanding. And actually, like divine healing, it's like therapeutic in its own way. So very interesting. Udemy, I have a class on Udemy called Energetics, the Key to Your Ideal Life, and the online communities. That's another way. So there is my number, my email, and the website. So you take a picture, and that way you don't have to worry about any of this stuff when you're done. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get into the session and have you guys lay back, relax. And like I was telling the girls before, I will let you know when I want you to repeat. There are some things that I say alone, And then there's things that in order for you to integrate them a little deeper for your healing, you're going to want to say, and you're going to want to see how that feels, where it goes in your body, and how it resonates with you. So right now is a good time for questions or comments before we begin the healing session. So if you have any questions or comments, just unmute and ask, and then we're going to get ready to begin. Okay, well, I'm going to sip on my tea a little bit here. So go ahead, and I would suggest I'm going to go ahead and start clearing the air, and start thinking about your breath, where it's flowing in your body. Slow it down. I recommend slowing it down to at least about 6 deep breaths. And what is suggested is not through the nose, because it keeps you in your head. And you can, you know what? I would suggest just following with the mouth for now. You're going to breathe through your mouth, and I would act like I have a straw, like act like you're slipping through a straw. And then you want the exhale to be a little longer. You can always try switching it up later, but I have found that yes, the breath through the mouth does keep me in the body a little more. And you may also hear me breathing, because as the energy shifts, I can feel when it's shifting even for you guys. So I sometimes breathe to get my energy flowing back again, because I can feel it getting stuck in different places. And you may too. And all you can, when you feel it getting stuck someplace and it's not moving, then you can just say, let go. You focus on that area and say, let go, let go, let go. And you should start to feel more relaxed. You should start to feel your energy flowing a little more. And you may even get a little smile, like you may even want to smile. So close your eyes, relax. And I'm going to stop this share here. Okay. Mother, Father Divine, please reabsorb into your light all negative imprinted messages and energies that I have taken on. Any programs, beliefs, perceptions, judgments, expectations, phobias, mindsets, blocks, conditioning, limitations, value systems, discord, patterns, fears, addictions, traumas, heartbreaks, pain, thought forms, traumas, attachments, death wish, dogmas, opinions, doctrines, vows, contracts, agreements, promises, pacts, sacrifices, grievances, fractures, transference, projections, excuses, avoidance, punishments, sabotages, sensitivities, allergies, wars, defeats, prejudices, standards, sexual issues, inhibitions, battles, shock, toxicity, defenses, depression, dysfunction, habits, indoctrinations, superstitions, agendas, illnesses, arguments, conflicts, feuds, emotions, regulations, rules, criticism, identification, disidentification, wounds, illness, imprints, imbalances, interferences, revulsions, desires, wounds, needs, disconnections, shadows, control, pathology, behaviors, and damage. Please clear all these energies from my physical body, etheric body, mental body, emotional body, astral body, etheric template body, celestial body, catheric template body, spiritual bodies, aura, chakras, organs, endocrine system, muscular system, skeletal system, nervous system, lymphatic system, respiratory system, integumentary system, urinary system, cardiovascular system, reproductive system, digestive system, cells, DNA, genetics, subatomic levels, elements, cell membranes, connective tissues, immune system, circuits, meridians, cell nuclei, holographic matrix, physiology, neurology, universal energy field, biochemistry, other incarnations, other realities, higher self, water, blood, and body fluids, at whatever level they reside in the highest and best good. Thank you. Mother, Father Divine, I command all aspects of my being to now return to 100% full energy, health, well-being, vitality, strength, vigor, and youthfulness, and that all tissues, vibrations, and frequencies of my mind, body, and soul renew and revive, regenerate, and rejuvenate to hold and sustain higher levels of light. Thank you. Mother, Father Divine, please release and cut all of the soul cords, past life cords, genetic cords, relational cords, karmic cords, psychic cords, physical cords, energetic cords, emotional cords, mental cords, spiritual cords, other relational cords and sexual cords, attachments that I have made or others had made to me that no longer serve anymore. Please heal and repair each matrix multidimensionally in all carnations and incarnations and time frames to infinity and beyond, including the Akashic records. Please take everyone back to their center and stabilize and strengthen the boundary of each etheric template body. Thank you. Mother, Father, Divine, I give thanks that all cell and soul fragments do not belong to me, be returned to their original owner, washed and cleansed through your light. I give thanks that all cell and soul fragments that do not belong to me be returned to me, washed and cleansed. Thank you. Feel it in your body. Feel where your breath goes. You're breathing through the mouth. Exhale a little longer. Let it go if it's holding anywhere. Just be aware of where it's at and say, let go. This was developed by Amira Rel Hilaire. And this one is clearing others' energies before we get going. I am going to check on hydration levels for everyone. And I am pretty sure that we are probably a little dehydrated. So we're going to hydrate first, and then I'm going to encode some nutrients and a couple of block flower remedies that came up today for this new moon, which is chicory and honeysuckle. So if anyone wants to work with those, and you resonate with them, they want to work with those for the rest of the month, those are highly suggested. So for dehydration, well, what we had that came up earlier, sometimes things come to me even before I start the sessions, is dehydration of the organs. And we're going to aim for the blood and the brain. I'm just checking to make sure that that resonates for what we're doing right now. Organs, the blood, and the brain. If you want to focus there, just focus there. Feel what's going on with your energy. Is it trying to run? Is it trying to hold someplace? Is your mind trying to click on and say, what's going on? What's happening here? What are you doing to me? Just check in and be aware of where everything is. And I want to get you guys a little more tuned here. I'm going to have you take off your, unmute yourself. And you are going to repeat this part with me. And I'm going to check it and see if we're ready to move into your hydrating and flower essences. So repeat after me. I ask higher self.
I ask higher self
To clear all blocks.
To clear all
blocks.
And align my energies to begin the work.
And align my energies to begin the work.
Let's see what's going on. You guys are sounding good. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's move to your hydration. And I want you guys to repeat this one after me too. And especially if you're feeling like, yeah, I do feel a little dehydrated. Higher self,
Higher self,
please correct all dehydration in the blood and brain.
please correct all dehydration in the blood and in the brain,
Multidimensionally
multidimensionally,
and for as long as needed.
and for as long as needed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And just feel what's going on with your body. And like I said, you may get the urge to take deep breaths. You may get burpy. That happens. It's just energy trying to flow. It might get stuck in your throat. And that's why you want to be conscious of where it's going. You might get tingly in certain areas. Pains may shift and start trying to draw your attention away from focusing, and you just relax, just go, just feel it. Let's see what's going on with nutrition. And then we're going to move into the Bach flowers. Let's see what we can use today for nutrition. Just feel where your breath is going. All right. So we are going into C chart. Let's see what comes up for minerals. Silver came up for minerals. So we're going to integrate some silver. Higher self, please encode this silver and the perfect balance that is required, and clear and align all pathways for maximum assimilation, absorption, and utilization. And just feel the shift, see if something moved. Breathe through the mouth if your breath's getting stuck. Thank you. Now let's look at your Bach flower remedies. And we're going to go today with chicory and honeysuckle. And you just take it in. I ask higher self to encode the frequency of chicory into every part of my being. As long as it is required. Multidimensionally. Please release all negative thought forms. And emotions. Limiting mindsets. And conditioned thinking. And bring all energy bodies. Into alignment.
into alignment,
and harmonic resonance with each other.
and harmonic resonance with each other.
And feel where that goes. Thank you. And chicory is related to possessiveness, self-love, and self-pity. So we're doing this one for, this is a good mood for compassion, self-love, a cozy, good feeling, a good one to work on emotional healing. And we're going to also work with honeysuckle, dwells in thoughts of the past, nostalgia, or homesick. So Cancer moons to a lot of memories of the past with high Cancer energies. So we want to balance those out as well. So we're going to encode that into our matrix. Just feel the flow. Okay, that feels good. Oh, we're going to move on to just relax, and I'm going to do something else here silently for you guys before I go on to main low frequencies. Okay. Well, we did a lot of that clearing up already with clearing others' energy, so that's good. So we're going to move into the low frequencies and see what comes up for low frequencies. Which one do we want to work on in this session for this new moon? Okay, the number one came up. And 1. So we're going to go with low self-esteem for this new moon. And it seems, let me check it. Yeah, very, very fitting. Okay. All right, I'm going to have you repeat after me. I ask Saint Germain
I ask Saint Germain
to pour the purple flame
to pour the purple flame
through the aura
through the aura
and subtle bodies
and subtle body
to burn away all low frequencies
to burn away all frequencies
of self-esteem
of self-esteem
that we have discovered,
that we have discovered,
so that new levels, higher vibrations
higher vibrations
can be accessed, accepted, and encoded. Just feel how that feels for you. Anything comes up, if you got your notes there, you can just jot down something if it comes through. Okay, we're going to move through Saint Germain and higher self. Please burn out
burn out
in one go 100% the core issue
100% core issue
through all levels and dimensions.
through all levels and
dimensions.
100% the original cause
100% the original cause.
all levels and dimensions.
To all levels of dimensions.
100% the source of its power
100%
100% force
source of
power
power
through all levels and dimensions.
through all
levels
and
and
dimensions.
100% all energy attached
100% all energy attached
through
all levels and dimensions.
through all levels and
levels and
dimensions.
dimensions.
100% all of its effects
100% of all
All of
effects
its effects
through all levels and dimensions.
through all levels and
levels and
dimensions.
dimensions.
Feel the shift, feel where it's going, and just bring conscious awareness to your feelings. It's holding, let go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now you guys are just going to relax now. You don't have to say anything. All you're going to have to do is lay back and you're just going to take in. We're going to finish up and you're going to stay where you are, if you can, 15, 30 minutes after we're done. But I am going to do a vow break because it came up and I feel like it might be needed. Vow breaks are some unknown attachments that we have that we don't even realize that we have, and it could be with anyone, anything in an unconscious way that we need to break and sever to move our energy forward. So let me find that. We ask for grace and our higher consciousness to now rescind any and all vows, contracts, declarations, oaths, pacts, promises, and agreements that we've taken on while living the illusion of unconsciousness. As a light bearer of our genetic lineage, we break these illusions for us and all our ancestors. I now declare that these vows are null and void in this incarnation and all incarnations across space and time, and this reality and all realities, in all parallel realities, and all parallel universes, all planetary systems, all dimensions, and the void. I command this by the force of grace, the essence of purity, the power of faith, and the decree of victory. I command the release of all crystals, devices, implants, thought forms, matrices, veils, cellular memory, and pictures of reality that no longer serves. We ask our higher self to create an ascension grid work to reflect our original divine blueprint. Thank you. Higher self, we willingly dissolve all programs and belief systems that no longer serves us. Higher self, we totally embrace the insights, awakenings, and clearings accessed in this session and are 100% willing to integrate them into all levels of our consciousness. Higher self, please fully integrate this work 100% and keep the soul clear, aligned, and grounded across all levels, dimensions, realities, universes, and time frames. We ask the healing is maintained and all the changes have been integrated fully. Please keep all pathways open for continued expansion, consciousness to its highest levels. We ask that all processes are completed gently, safely, gracefully, and easily. Thank you for this gift of love. It is all done. Enjoy the stillness within you. Thank you for joining. I will leave where you are. And contact me if you have any questions or comments.